Reality recap.
And hi, Evelyn. Yes, I know you have the reunion. Yes, we have 2 more episodes. And then we have the reunion, of course.
I look like this slut. I look like a mom. She was like, you the one that look like you got a high body count hair. I fell the fuck out, y'all.
Candace, has Deborah reached out to you to apologize after the episode aired showing Chris did not flirt with her?
She wouldn't dare. She would get eaten for breakfast.
Oh boy.
No, she's doubling down.
Why would you go meet with Ray J without talking to Princess or letting her know why? Like, she's trying to justify that she told her after the fact and not supposed to make it.
What do you think of your ex-husband Jim coming out and saying you did not try to stop him from suing Shannon and Tamara?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, if his memory is a little foggy about what transpired back then, that's okay. However, he did admit that I had nothing to do with the...
Reality recap. Reality recap.
What's up, y'all? Happy Monday. It's your girl V with Reality Recap here for another Tea Talk session. And today we are discussing last week's episode of Real Housewives of Miami. Now, before we get into it, let's take care of a little bit of business. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Reality Recap 2876. You'll see it coming across the screen. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And also make sure you're following me, what you see on the corner of the screen, reality_recap at Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for all the reality hot news. All right. Now, I want to talk to you about Real Housewives of Miami, as I mentioned. But before we get into it, the reunion for Real Housewives of Miami was taped last week. And the seating chart came out and caused quite a bit of stir online. So let me just pull that up really quickly and share with you what Bravo dropped. There you have it. So this is the seating chart showing Andy, of course, as the host, with Stefanie and Alexia and the top or front 2 seats. You have Lisa, Larsa, Gertie, Julia, Adriana, Marisol, and Kiki. I was one of the people that was pretty much in an uproar or confused as to how Gertie doesn't have the front seat when she's literally been woven to everybody's storyline this season. I didn't understand Stefanie and Alexia being in the first seat. I mean, yeah, we get the Todd stuff, but the stuff with Todd happened way before they even picked up cameras for Real Housewives of Miami. Like, we already, well, if you're following me, you already knew about when Todd originally filed for divorce, when he was forced to go back to court and figure out if he was going to go forward with it or not before it expired. So we already knew a lot of that information that they were seeing out and about after filing, all of that. And we haven't really talked about Todd much since the beginning of this season. Now, I do know Alexia and Stefanie are in a bit of a beef right now. The whole Chihuahua, Rottweiler comment, but that isn't enough for me to earn first seats at the reunion. It has to be, I keep telling myself, well, maybe something else happens. You know, we're midway through the season. The girls are getting ready to go on their trip to Spain. But there has to be something else that has happened that will cause them to get first seat. If not, it's just not making sense to me. Stefanie did put up a little snarky post in her story, like, oh, everybody's so up in arms that I got the first seat. Like, basically, oh well, deal with it. It's not rare that you see a first-time housewife get first seat. So this better be good, Uncle Daddy Andy and Bravo. This better be something really explosive in the last couple of episodes or the other half of this season that she was given this first seat. So I will be seated and try not to prejudge, but I just really don't understand how, the drama with Gertie, the text messages, not with Gertie, with Gertie and Julia and the text messages shown how they're not first seed. I can even understand Lisa and Larsa because they had their beef throughout the beginning of the season and really haven't, too much going on there. But I don't get this one, guys. You let me know your thoughts, but that was the reunion seating chart. Now, also after the reunion, Gertie dropped a picture that I just thought was so iconic. It looked so good. I'm going to show it to you guys on her page. But she dropped this picture right here where she was with Adriana and Lisa after the reunion. You know, most of the girls go and have reunion dinners after it's over. So this picture with them in the French fries just looks so cute and epic. That's why they can't stand them, if you ask me. But it says Real Housewives of Miami reunion done. Check. Beauty, brains, and bulletproof receipts. We know that Gertie has been bringing the receipts all season long, and it seems like there was no exception at the reunion. I think these three really feel like they came out on top. I think they will as well. So I'm excited to see the reunion, but I just thought this picture was so epic. I had to share with you. Also, some other news out there with Julia and Martina. It seems like Andy has a bit of a bone to pick with Martina, some comments that she made about surrogate mothers and that being wrong. And he responded saying that, you know, it was an ignorant comment with no research. And I wouldn't be surprised if he addresses that with Martina at the reunion if she is there. So keep it locked. Like I said, follow me, reality_recap. I will definitely let you guys see the reunion looks when they drop. I'm excited to see. I'm sure the theme is going to be something Spain related. So we'll probably get those looks pretty soon after we see this trip because it will probably go in theme with their Spain trip. But I'm excited to see the reunion and I'm enjoying this season so far outside of, you know, the treatment of Gertie. This past episode was finally an episode where I wasn't highly annoyed with them. So I can say that I am happy to report I'm all right this week after seeing that episode. Now, once they get to Spain, a whole nother story, but let's get into it. I thought it was very telling the issues that Julia is having. You know, Julia and Martine went out to dinner with Stefanie and her husband. Stefanie talked about her estranged relationship with her twin sisters and her family and how they don't really get along or speak. And Julia spoke on how she's not talking to her daughters right now, or rather, her daughters are not talking to her. I will say Martine looked like she did not want that to be shared. She was kind of like, oh, this isn't going to help the situation on her face anyway. She didn't express it or say it, but I just, from her body language, it was kind of like, I don't think we should be sharing this. But Julia did share her two oldest daughters, and I was speaking with her after she adopted the two boys that we've seen on a couple of the past episodes. Now, I did tell you guys how I felt, just my gut, when Julia said that she adopted two boys and they wanted to keep them private. Then all of a sudden, they show up and we're seeing them, and there were two young Black boys. I don't know how I felt about that. I can't express to you in so many words. I can only tell you my gut feeling was like, this feels wrong. This feels like they're exploiting these two young boys. Now, do I know Julia wanted to expand her family? Absolutely. She's been trying to go through the adoption process. Absolutely. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. And it seems like this was something that they were looking to do as far as adopting, but maybe didn't express or talk to the daughters about how quickly it would be happening after they got the phone call that these children were available. I hate to even say it that way, but that, you know, these children were able to be adopted and they, you know, maybe didn't talk to the daughters. They went through the process without really communicating it and they're upset with her. That's telling to me. If I'm being honest with you guys, it gives, let me hurry up and adopt these boys so I have a piece of storyline. You would be surprised the things that people do just to be relevant and be able to stay on our televisions. I don't know. That's the vibe I get. Some may agree, some may not, but it just doesn't feel right to me. And I just thought it was very telling that her daughters are not speaking with her. Um, Marisol had an event at her house, a preppy event. She wanted the girls to wear, polos, preppy tennis skirts, that type of vibe. And I thought it was diabolical for Marisol to call Gertie a fashion catastrophe as she sat in her confessional giving Timu Jackie O. I know I said I wasn't annoyed by this episode, but maybe I was a little when it comes to how they treat Gertie. But I just thought that was tacky of her to say. And they call Gertie, and Gertie comes in, and apparently Kiki is being a snitch. Now, Kiki and Gertie, it was said over the weekend that they unfollowed each other, but then Gertie came back and clarified that no, she just found out that Kiki blocks her. Probably something to do with the reunion, but I don't feel like Kiki has had Gertie back this season. It feels like, and I've said this in past recaps as well, it feels like the girls are trying to ice out Gertie, that they've made their decision. Oh, she talks over people, she gets on our nerves, we don't really like her, and they're trying to ice her out from filming with her. The confrontations with her, nobody having her back, with Julia throwing water in her face, but everybody's so up in arms and so disgusted with her putting the text messages up at her event and walking out on that, but nobody walked out or told Julia to leave the wedding reception when she threw water in Gertie's face. But yeah, Kiki has not been supportive. Everyone wants to be a part of the clique. It feels like Julia wants to be a part of the Alexia Marisol dynamic. Kiki wants to be a part of that, in my opinion. The only girls that are standing out is Lisa, Adriana, and Gertie, because they're not afraid to speak their minds. They are the ones that they love to hate, and they're kind of, bonded and coming together over that. But yeah, Kiki snitched and told Marisol that Gertie called them cult like, as far as this whole clique and everybody wanting to be a part of it. And here goes Alexia, I don't like that, bro. I don't like that, bro. So they call themselves kind of cornering Gertie because she came into the party first, and she came in with this nice, there's this drink machine. It costs a lot of money where you can just, it's almost like a coffee maker. I forget the name of it, bar something, but you put the little cup in it and it makes a cocktail for you. And we all know Marisol loves her cocky. But she brings this in for Marisol to her house, very welcoming, very open, and bringing this gift. And they're like, "Oh, do you want to go to Spain? Because it don't seem like we that cool." Yada yada yada. Because they're planning their trip to Spain for Alexia. And I just didn't like the conversation or her calling her a fashion catastrophe. And then also in her confessional, Marisol said that she heard that Gertie regifted her the drink machine. Well, Gertie, as I mentioned, has been coming with her receipts all season so far. She posted the receipt of her purchasing the drink machine from Amazon with her Amex, and that she did not regift Marisol. So, oops, upside your head, girl. So there we have it. The receipt queen continues. But yeah, just finding out Kiki snitched and hearing what she called Gertie as far as fashion catastrophe, and then saying she regifted her gift. It feels mean girlish. It feels like they're picking on Gertie, and I don't like that. Um, at this dinner, Gertie also pulled Julia aside to talk to her, and I was a little annoyed by that. I don't want Gertie to pull Julia aside to talk to her anymore. If she doesn't want to try to fix it, don't try to fix it with her. But she pulls her aside saying, "Listen, we both did and said things we didn't like towards each other." Julia, after they had apologized and seemingly buried the hatchet, Julia comes to Alexia's narcissist party, which I don't care what nobody say. The life coach was letting Alexia know that party was about Todd. She may not see it and mad when people say that. That's why she's partially mad at Stefanie. But that's what I got out of it too. Everything that was on the mirrors was stuff that Todd does to her. But let's not go backwards. So yeah, I just felt like I didn't want Julia to pull her aside anymore, but at that party, Julia she's saying, well, what do you do if somebody says something, you just can't get over it and move forward, although they had supposedly moved forward, which prompted Gertie, whether you like it or not, to pull the receipts and put those text messages up at her event. Some of y'all was saying it's so tacky, it's so crass. It's a event, a charity event. Gertie said she wasn't raising money at that event. It was more so of a celebration of life, and it was her party. It's her party, and she can do what she wants. So she put the text messages up. We've seen way worse done at parties than put some text messages up on the screen. They weren't anything vulgar. Can you put up poster boards at her grand opening? So we've seen worse. Okay. She wanted to do it. She did it. She had to retaliate. I thought it was iconic. Just my thoughts. But yeah, she's saying, you went backwards. I retaliated. I want to move past it. Julia seemingly says that she wants to get past it, but clearly with the receipts that Gertie's been dropping since the season started airing, with the reunion comments, I'm sure that it doesn't stay this way for quite long. So we'll definitely see what else is in store. But I just don't even feel like the shit not genuine with Julia. I don't feel like she really is willing to move forward. And to be honest, I don't think Gertie's really ready to move forward. So let's stop apologizing and pulling Julia aside, and let's just let her be over in the corner. And we just gonna be over here being fabulous like Gertie always does. So also at this party, Stephanie pulls Alexia aside to talk about their foolishness of Alexia being upset that Stephanie called her a Rottweiler, even though she was the one that called herself a Rottweiler, because in a past episode, Stephanie was saying, well, you bark at me. And she's like, yeah, no, you bark at me and you're like a Chihuahua and I'm a Rottweiler. And then Stephanie played off of that in the next scene saying, oh, is the Rottweiler there? And now all of a sudden, Alexi's upset. The bottom line is she's upset with Stephanie because Stephanie called Todd out as being a narcissist. That's the bottom line, which I agree with. I don't like Stephanie too much, but I agree with that. So they pull each other aside for their foolishness and trying to move past it. And Stephanie's playing this like G5 game show. Like, I have my G5 jet. I asked Marisol if she wanted to go on the jet, and she said no, because, Alexia, she wants to fly commercial with you because you're her best friend. So, Alexia, I'm going to ask you, do you want to do the same? It's a game show. Which one will you choose? Door number 1 commercial or door number 2 G5 jet? I was like, why would you even ask her knowing that Marisol already said no? So why would she turn around? Like, are you trying to be messy? Are you trying to trying to start something? It was really weird to me. And I still don't understand why she's not able to carry everybody on her jet to Spain. I get it's a long flight. So is it the luggage capacity? Is that what it is on her plane or what? But it don't make sense because you can't fly them to Spain, but you're going to fly yourself and 3 other ladies or 2 other ladies, whatever. 3 other ladies, y'all going to fly to Spain, and then you're going to pick everybody else up to go to another part of Spain. It don't make no sense to me. Like, don't wave your little G5 over my head. Like, I've been flying commercial this long. I could just keep on doing it. And I'm sure with these ladies, it'll be first class or business class anyway. It's not like they're going to be in the back row somewhere. Hey, Lisa Barlow. But I just didn't understand what she was trying to accomplish here. Was she trying to test their friendship? And like I said, I ain't really here for Alexia and Marisol this season. I used to love their friendship and their bond and love their duo and their podcast. But, with the way they treat Gertie, I haven't really been feeling them. So I just didn't understand her reasoning behind that. So she's deciding to take Larsa. Who else she's in? She's taking Larsa, and then she kind of brought it back to the table, still in a game show manner of, okay, Marisol said no. Alexia said no. So I want to know, Kiki, I really haven't got to know you and the blah, blah, blah. And, they said, well, take who? Was it, I forget who it was, but it was like, take this person on the jet. Let me look at my notes. I don't even know. Because that's how confusing it was of a game show. But I think she asked Kiki and one other person, and someone that she said she had gotten to know in the group yet. And Adriana took this moment to throw shots at Julia, like, see how Marisol and Alexia won't fly on the jet separately. They'll do commercial together. That's a true friendship. And that's because also Alexia started crying, like, oh, Marisol's really been there for me. And I get it. She's emotional. She's going through her divorce. Marisol has been there. She's planning this whole trip. Yada, yada, yada. Cool. But yeah, Adriana took that to throw some shots at Julia. Like, yeah, that's a real friendship. Where you been? Where you been? And Julia is expecting Adriana to stand up for her when Gertie put the text messages up. And Adriana, like, I told you to come stand up for yourself. You don't have my back when I'm going through it. Like when I'm out here calling Marisol bony knees and telling she need plastic surgery on her knees. Like, I don't know what she's expecting backing up on. But Julia and Adriana's friendship is definitely experiencing some strain because she also feels like Julia just wants to be a part of this cool girl group or mean girl group. So she's drinking the Kool-Aid, but Alexia crying, busting out crying was a little weird to me. And Adriana basically telling Julia she sucks as a friend. And that's how we end the episode. So they are on their way to Spain. New episode airing this week. We'll see how it goes with half the cast going on Stephanie's jet, the other one's flying commercial. And in a sneak peek, I saw that Lisa must have been late. We'll see if I'm right. But Lisa had to fly from like Miami to London to Spain and take a train, probably because she was late. So we'll see in the new episode how things go overseas. As we know, probably not well. Have you ever seen a housewife trip go smoothly? Never. Well, we wouldn't watch, right? But that is my thoughts on the latest episode of Real Housewives of Miami. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Am I spot on? Do you guys agree? If you don't agree, let me know why and what part. I'm open to all opinions. Everyone's opinion is welcome here. But just remember, you can't force yours on me, okay? So, again, before I get out of here, please make sure you like this video, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's coming across the screen, Reality Recap, and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, reality_recap, and TikTok is reality_recap 2. Send me stars on Facebook if you like my content. Make sure you support, comment, like, share that as well. Share my profile with your friends that need and love reality TV as much as I do and you do. All right. And like I say before, I always end my shows, reality TV stars are humans too. Let's not forget that. It's your girl B with Reality Recap. Y'all have a great Monday. I'll be back with a recap of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Peace.